Morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Thanks for joining me again today. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're going to have a great weekend. It's a long weekend for those of you in the United States. 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everybody that celebrates. So this is going to be a really quick video because, again, nothing's changed. We're still looking at alt season, I think, on the horizon. Now, it might not start next week. It might not start next month. But alt season is coming. Alts are going to outperform Bitcoin in the immediate future, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but we look at all these charts, they're all bullish against Bitcoin. So, they've gotten killed for 8 months against Bitcoin. They've just gotten destroyed against Bitcoin. So it's time, right? That's when you want to move into these. So we'll look at them real quick today because, again, it's a long weekend. Weekend trading is infuriating because, right, it could go down big tomorrow and then just rebound right back to where it was on Sunday, right? Goes down tomorrow, goes up on Sunday, and then by Monday, right, we're right back where we started. Now, we might have a little wrinkle because 4th of July is a non-trading day on the stock markets in the United States. So who knows what that little wrinkle will do to the crypto assets. So we'll see. But so I expect maybe some volatility this weekend, especially with the 3-day weekend. But I wouldn't be surprised if we fit it. We're at 19.3, 19.4 for Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if Monday morning, Tuesday morning, we're 19.3, 19.4. I wouldn't be surprised also if we're lower. I would be surprised if we're higher. So we'll see. So we're going to skip the stock market. That was kind of boring today. The DXY is kind of just hanging out there at 105 at basically 20-year highs. So until that starts going down, I don't know that we're going to get much movement on the stock market or our crypto. We might just keep kind of grinding down. So we'll see. But let's just start with Bitcoin, right? The alpha daddy here. So Bitcoin, not much has changed, right? 1, 2, 3, 6 red days in a row. 6 red days in a row. For all my new listeners, I have a blue resistance line here. I don't think that's that big of a resistance line. My big, huge resistance line is this red one, right? I'm not going to get excited about Bitcoin until it goes back above there. Right now it's about 26,000, maybe even a little lower. We're floating down below it, right? It's like 20, what is that? 25 something, 20. I have to shrink this up to check it here. So it's like, right now it's like, yeah, 26,000, I guess, 26,000. So I'm not going to be excited about Bitcoin until we get above that resistance line. It was strong support. We need to get above it, hold it, maybe even back test it as support. That's when I get excited about Bitcoin. Until then, I'm all about alts. I'm all about alt season. And we've looked at four or five charts on my video in the last few days. All alts, all bullish against Bitcoin. And some of them I've moved into, and we're making profits on both, 2 of them, right? I've moved from Bitcoin into 2 alts, and we're making profits on all of them against Bitcoin. So we're stacking sats without trading on leverage, without putting new money in, just taking it out of Bitcoin and putting it into alts, and we're stacking sats. It's a miracle. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow. Happy 4th of July. Let's create some fireworks here. So let's go to one of those alts. My favorite one, right? My favorite one. I've been telling you about this for 8 weeks, that new money put into ADA will outpace Bitcoin and Ethereum by end of year, a year from now, and 5 years from now. And again, I'm looking at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, so this is a long-term trend I'm playing. I'm playing this as a long-term trade. I'm not looking to get out of this next week, next month, maybe even 6 months from now. This might be a year trade. We'll see. And we'll talk about this as we move up. But look at that green candle, right? I told you right here at the bottom of this, after we had turned this descending wedge, we surpassed this upper red line that was resistance for over a year, right? I mean, we can go back. Look at this red line. It was resistance for a long time, and we surpassed it, tested it as support, and I told you on this day right here, when it was at 0.000019 Bitcoin, that I was taking a lot of my Bitcoin and moving in at ADA, and we had a giant green candle right after it. Perfect. And yeah, we've had one small weekly red candle, and this week is a small weekly red candle, but we're still up. We're still up like over 20% on this trade, meaning if you had gone into it with me a couple weeks ago when I pointed it out, I made a special video on my channel. I said I'm moving a large portion of my Bitcoin into ADA. If you had done it with me, you could have turned one Bitcoin into 1.2 something Bitcoin just by moving it out of Bitcoin into ADA at that opportune moment. I brought it to you at the exact moment that it was, we were ready to pop on ADA. And so if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and give me a follow. Hit that subscribe button, because as we stay in ADA here, we will keep talking about it as we move up. I have some blue resistance lines here, and where we're going to take profit, or where I'm going to take profit, right? You got to do what you got to do, and do your own research. But where I'm going to take profit, and ideally for a majority of that position, I'm going to wait until it gets up to the top of this descending wedge at 0.00006 Bitcoin. What would that mean? If you had moved into ADA with me, that would mean if you had moved one Bitcoin into ADA, that could be turning one Bitcoin into 3, 2 Bitcoin into 6, right? If you're new to the channel, if you watch me every day, you've heard this spiel before, but it's working out. It's working out, right? We're making profit on ADA. Can't versus Bitcoin, right? It's down overall. It's down against the USD. Everything's down, but we're stacking sats, and that's all that's important in the end. Stacking sats, because the market will turn around at some point, and the more sats you have, the better off you're going to be. So, right, ADA crushing Bitcoin right now. So let's go to the next one, right? ETH. I said on that same night, I'm moving some of my Bitcoin into ETH, and I look at the ETH BTC chart and do it on Coinbase, and look at this. I told you back here a couple weeks ago, when we were right on the support line, that goes back like 18 months, right? I told you at the opportune moment. I didn't tell you back, when we were up here. I didn't tell you when, we're in the middle here, in the middle of this ascending triangle. No, I told you right when we got to support. Right at the exact moment we were at support. I said, hey, I'm moving some of my Bitcoin into ETH. When we were at 0.052 Bitcoin compared to ETH. And right now we're at 0.054. Look at this. Look at how perfect this is worked out. I told you right here, when we were right on that, when we hit that support line for the first time, I said, I'm moving into ETH. I'm buying some ETH. Next week, we wicked down below it, but we closed the week above. And look at the last 2 weeks, including this week. We've wicked right to that line. Right to that line. As long as that line holds, we are making money. We're stacking sats versus Bitcoin, right? Again, stacking sats. We're down overall, right? Since I moved into that trade against the dollar, but we're up against Bitcoin. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to me in the end is, am I creating value versus Bitcoin, right? I can go back and forth between my alts and my Bitcoin, and if I'm stacking sats, I'm golden. And that's all that matters in the end to me. Now, again, this is not financial advice. These could go against me tomorrow, and I'd look like a fool, right? But right now, they're working out. We're making money on ADA and on ETH. As long as ETH maintains this support line in this ascending triangle, we're good. We're going to be in profit against Bitcoin. And so far, so good. Look at that support line is holding perfectly. And again, this is an ascending triangle. So I'm waiting for it to get up to the top of this blue line, the top blue line, right? And if it does, what does that mean? That's almost a 50% return. A 50% return. 1 Bitcoin into 1.5. 2 Bitcoin into 3. As long as we're maintaining that support line, we're good. And again, that's all that matters. Am I stacking sats? So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe, because I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to share these trades with you at the exact opportune moment. Not 2 weeks too early, not 2 weeks too late. For ADA and ETH, when I moved into them, I brought them to the channel. I talked about them the night that we were breaking out, the night that it was the opportune time to get in. And we're making money on both. We're stacking sats on both. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. So let's look at 2 more that we've been talking about recently. I'm not in either of these right now. I'm not in either of this, full disclosure. But let's start with the one I'm less enthused about, but is still looking bullish against Bitcoin. Matic, Polygon, right? again, I'm looking at the weekly channel, but look at this descending channel. It only goes back to December of this year, which is one reason I'm not as excited about it, right? The pattern hasn't existed for that long. And I told you about it this week, and I said, wait until, we broke out last week, and I didn't tell you about it last week because we broke out of that channel, so bullishly. But I said, if you're thinking about getting into this, you might want to make sure, until this weekly candle closes, and see if the resistance line, this upper red line, holds as support. Well, look what happened. I think it was yesterday. We came down and pretty much touched that line perfectly and bounced off of it. And that's bullish. That is bullish. If that maintains, throughout the week through Sunday, that's bullish. Against Bitcoin, that's bullish. So is alt season about to start? That's 3 for 3. 3 for 3. Alts versus Bitcoin. The charts are looking bullish. Now, again, I'm probably not going to go into Polygon. I'm probably not going to go into Matic. Because, I think I have enough exposure right now to Ethereum where Polygon resides, right? So if for some reason Ethereum blows up, I don't necessarily need the extra exposure through Polygon. So I'm probably not going to get into Polygon. But this next one, but we're 3 for 3. Again, on that one, personally, if I was going to get into it, I'd wait until the Sunday, the weekly close on Sunday, see if we maintain that support line, right? This upper red line, see if we can maintain above it, and we have a nice bounce off of it, and then I would think about getting in. And again, you might want to wait until you get up to this the upper channel, and that would be at one Matic is 0.000057 Bitcoin. And we'll talk about that. We'll monitor this one as it hopefully breaks out against Bitcoin. But I'm not going to get into that one. So, but if you appreciate that, I'll keep bringing that to the channel because I know there are a lot of Matic fans out there, and so I'll keep discussing Polygon on here if you feel it's warranted, or if you like that analysis. So give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment if you want me to keep discussing Polygon. But the one that I'm looking at and seriously consider getting in is I'm more bullish on this chart. It's Polkadot. So again, DOT versus BTC. I'm looking at all these alts versus Bitcoin, right? Because that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about stacking cash. I'm not concerned about how they're performing against the US dollar, right? I don't want US dollars. I'm trying to get out of US dollars. I want Bitcoin and alts, right? I'm most bullish on Cardano. I'm stacking Cardano. I'm stacking Ethereum. I want to stack sats, but right now I think the best opportunities to stack sats are by moving them into Cardano, by moving Bitcoin into Cardano and Ethereum, and hopefully Polkadot. So let's check Polkadot. Again, I'm not in it right now, but look at this descending wedge. Again, this looks exactly like the ADA chart that broke out for us. And this goes back to November of last year, right? So it's like a 10-month chart, or I guess a 9-month chart or something like that. But so last week we broke out from we broke the resistance line, this upper red line on Polkadot, and we settled right on top of it as support. And I told you this week I would wait to see the weekly close again. I'm waiting for the weekly close to see if we stay out of the pattern. I want to make sure we don't break back into this pattern because we're quite a ways from the apex yet. We could go down quite a ways and stay within this pattern. But yesterday again, look at this. Look at this. We wicked down right to the resistance, now turned support line. We wicked right down to it. Look at that, how beautiful that is. And we bounced off of it a little bit. I'm not having a ton of confidence in it yet. But if we can maintain, stay above that support line, now support, through Sunday, through the weekly close, I might, take the rest of my Bitcoin and move it into Polkadot. We'll see. If you want me to, keep discussing Polkadot, give me a comment. I will make a special video on Friday night. If I decide to do that, I will update you, in a timely manner if I decide to, move some of my Bitcoin into Polkadot, and I'll do it, right on in the moments after I make that move. So that's Polkadot. It's there. There's not much to say. So I think that's really it. I have a few other charts I'm kind of monitoring right now. One I don't think looks that great. Another I'm kind of thinking might be about another alt that's about to turn bullish. So if you want me to keep bringing these new charts to the channel, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and maybe we'll discuss it. One more thing I wanted to bring up is, right, let's look at this. I told you for 8 weeks now. I started this channel 8 weeks ago, almost 9 weeks ago. And I said, when I started the channel, one of the first things I said is this is the time, right? This is the time you want to be dollar cost averaging into, namely, ADA and Ethereum. And I said ADA will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now, and 5 years from now. And Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. Well, and almost every day we look at, so with that, I aim to prove it. I'm not just going to say that and then forget about my prediction 6 months from now when the end of the year comes, right? I'm proving it. I put it on Twitter weekly, and I put it on this channel weekly. We're proving our hypothesis by every week. We put $100 into those 3 coins, and I will show you which one outperforms by the end of the year. I will have it in writing, and I put it on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at @crypto_liberal. But so let's look at how that portfolio is doing, because for 8 weeks now we put $100 in each week. So we put $800 into each of those. How are they performing? How's that portfolio performing? Well, look at ADA is kicking Bitcoin's butt, right? It's kicking his butt. I mean, they're all down against the US dollar, but if you had put it into Bitcoin, you'd be losing more. So again, kind of stacking sats in a backwards kind of way, right? By putting new money into ADA, which is outperforming Bitcoin. And when the time comes, because I think ADA is going to outperform, I can move it back into Bitcoin, stacking sats along the way. Ethereum is lagging, but look at almost every day we look at this. Every day I bring it onto this channel. Almost every day ADA's outperforming Bitcoin. Not every day, but I'd say 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7 days we talk about this. ADA is outperforming Bitcoin, and Ethereum again is lagging, but I didn't say it would outperform Bitcoin by right now. I said by the end of the year, and it's caught up some recently. And right today, it's greatly outperforming both ADA and Bitcoin. So it's got some catching up to do if it's going to prove my hypothesis correct. But it's got plenty of time, and it's greatly outperforming today. So this weekend is going to be wonky. I think going to be wonky, especially with all these new news items coming out about the liquidity issues faced by these centralized CeFi platforms that are halting withdrawals, and especially over a long weekend, panic is still rife through the whole crypto industry. And honestly, I like to always finish up with BTC, right? BTC versus USD, and again the Coinbase, and we look at the daily chart. I still think the case is better. There's a better case to be made that we're going to go down and rather than up. And I've been saying that for a few days now, even though I thought this support line would hold up here. I was wrong. I'll admit when I was wrong. I've admitted it several times, right? But so now I think 17.5 is we're coming back down to there, the 7 where we halted before, or where we got some support before. I think we're going to revisit that. And honestly, I think we're going to go lower than that. And hopefully, at some point we get some support. At some point, some confidence returns to the industry. At some point, the bad news of liquidations comes to a halt, and we get some confidence returned, and we can start moving up. It will happen. It will happen at some point, right? But we're gonna have to weather the storm and dollar cost average, because when that is, nobody knows. Nobody knows if that's now, next week, next month, 6 months from now, a year from now. But there's no better, I've said this repeatedly in this channel, there's no better place to be dollar cost averaging right now than in crypto. And I choose ADA and Ethereum, and maybe DOT starting on Sunday, and maybe 1 or 2 more that we'll talk about in the future. But they're all looking bullish against Bitcoin. They're all looking bullish against Bitcoin. And to me, alt season is on the cusp of showing itself, of showing its ugly mug to the world, right? Alt season is coming. And in my opinion, just my opinion, this could all blow up in my face tomorrow, and I'll come on here and admit it and say, hey, I was wrong, and I'll be the first one that's losing a bunch of money if I'm wrong. But I don't see it happening, because all those charts, they're all bullish against Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, man, this is ugly. I mean, let's look at this weekly candle. It's just ugly. I mean, that's just terrible. So again, my worst case scenario is down here right now, about $8,000. That's my worst case scenario. I don't think we're gonna go below 8. I didn't think we were gonna go below 27 or whatever it was, a month ago. But I anticipate, Terra Luna blowing up and Celsius blowing up and Three Arrows blowing up, and right. That's why I tell you, don't trade on leverage. The big money, the smart money, presumably is trading on leverage, and they're getting liquidated left and right, and they're taking all of us down with them, unfortunately. So don't trade on leverage, right? That's it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great weekend. I will probably make a video tomorrow. I'll probably make a video on Sunday. I will make a video on Sunday. I'll make a video on 4th of July, and hopefully we get some good fireworks this weekend. But and I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of duds, a lot of duds in the firework packet this week or this weekend. So that's it. Hope you have a great weekend. My name is Mike. I'm the Crypto Liberal. Have a good weekend. Talk more tomorrow. Good night.